So this is based on the Charities Act. So ultimately, broad brush, trustees have the overall legal responsibility for a charity. And I appreciate that can sound a bit scary. And the Charities Act says the law describes charity trustees as the persons having the general control and management of the administration of a charity. So it's kind of that simple, I suppose. But equally, you know, you can say that in a sentence, but that comes with great responsibility. Good. So what that means then in practice, that again, taken from the Charities Commission, the 6 essential or main duties of a trustee. So firstly, and I guess when I'm going through these, I'd really like you to think about maybe examples in your organizations or from your experience about what that means in practice, either maybe you're currently doing, or maybe that you an issue that you're expecting to face, if you see what I mean. So the first one is about acting in your charity's best interest, and that's very much about making balanced and adequately informed decisions, thinking about the long term as well as the short term. Also managing any potential conflicts of interest. So sometimes when you might have dual roles, or so I mentioned I'm a trustee for Citizens Advice in Sheffield, and I used to work part-time for Health Watch. And there were a couple of occasions when I just had to remind the board that when we were doing projects with Health Watch, it wasn't a major thing at all, but just so you're kind of pointing that out, and so it can be formally minuted and recognised. So secondly, managing your charity's resources responsibly. So I love this word, acting with prudence. So that's avoid exposing the charity's assets, beneficiaries or reputation to undue risk. And I even think of really minutiae operational issues, you know, like if you're using your own personal handset or phone or computer for charity stuff, actually, have you thought about that as an organization in terms of the data that might be on your personal phone or whatever? I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but having those policies and procedures in place. Thirdly, complying with your charity's governing document and the law. So that's about taking reasonable steps to find out about the legal requirements and take appropriate advice when needed. So really, it's not, I would say it's not good enough to go, oh, we didn't know about that, we didn't think about that. It's actually, you know, having a bit of a discussion and a forward think about, is there any legislation or procedures that apply? Do we need to look into that, and what might that look like? And again, having the appropriate advice. So that doesn't mean to say that you have to have a massive trustee board with every possible skill and experience under the sun, because you can sort of look at other outlets to bring in those skills, but having a skills audit and thinking about what do your trustees bring and where are the gaps can be useful. Number 4, ensure your charity is carrying out its purposes for the public benefit. So that's about planning what your charity will do, what do you want to achieve. And one of the things I always think about under this is avoiding what you call mission drift. So sometimes your mission, your charitable objects may be really clear, or should be really clear about what you're delivering, maybe the geographical area you cover, maybe even the sort of beneficiaries that you cover. And it's so easy, particularly in these challenging financial times, to chase money, chase opportunity. But really, does those opportunities fit within your mission and your charitable objectives, or are you sort of chasing a pot of gold? And I know life's not that simple, but it's really sort of taking a step back and thinking about that. Number 5 is acting with reasonable care and skill. So make use of your skills and experience, take appropriate advice when needed. Do you need legal advice, for example? We've touched on that earlier. And lastly, but not leastly, ensure your charity is accountable. So demonstrate that your charity is complying with the law, well run and effective. So how are you transparent about that? How do you communicate with your donors, your beneficiaries?